I haven't done this in a while. I just turned the lights off. I'm literally in bed. Uh, yeah, I guess welcome back to Ouch My 30s, the podcast about the era, the age, period that no one prepared us for. I don't know how fucking long have I been doing this? I mean, there's not that many episodes, but well, you know what? I started this shit, I think, during the pandemic, which was now 6 fucking years ago. And I hate to be one of those people that's just like, oh, God, time. Wait, you mean chronological passage of time occurred in this dimension? No, that's insane. Um, yes, time has elapsed, and now I'm 39, and I turned 40, so I'll have to fucking change the name of the podcast in 6 months or something. Or we'll just pretend. Be in our 30s forever. So I guess, it's been a while since I've done this, and part of it's just like I'm just never in one place, and I never feel calm enough to collect my thoughts and put them to audio. But I also think life has been going in a more positive direction for me, so I've had less to bitch about. Now, to be clear, I've had my struggles. My struggles continue in many ways, but I think I've been grateful in a lot of ways for a lot of things. I forget the last time I did this damn thing. I think the last time I was talking about a girl I had been seeing, who I liked a lot. I still like her. I like her a lot. And it just sucks when you're just like trying to get your shit together, and like, very understandably, no woman, especially these days, should or really can wait for you to kind of get your shit together. And some people have less shit to get together, and other people are like me, literally trying to conquer the world. I'll be a benevolent leader, so long as you display obedience. And I'm finally getting the things together that I've long needed to get together with, which is like chiefly and predominantly my health, just being all over the place. And it's like, I have many not random things, I have real things I deal with, but I can see that they all stem from one core issue, which is my stress and anxiety and mental state. And these things are now have manifested physically. They're no less real and tangible, but I can start to really visualize the impact these things have on my physical health. And by focusing on trying to, tackle my mental health challenges and stress and anxiety issues, I've noticed I've been able to kind of get in more control of the things that I've been dealing with, this EOE, this like, throat inflammation thing, and fatigue and Lyme and just chronic pain and blah blah blah. But it's like now I'm like foam rolling. I'm doing like cat cow in the morning. It ain't perfect. It ain't a lot. You know, Swimming and splashing around, like just these things that 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago I was not doing, and now I am. But yeah, no, I have been thinking about this girl a lot, and just, yeah, I liked her, and I forget if she listens to this. I think she does. I care about her a lot. She was an extremely sweet girl, and it was the first time. I think that's what it was. It was the first time that I like could envision domesticity in like what a married life could look like. It was the first time that I was like, oh, this like feels good. And it's like super textbook, like you grow up in a state of kind of chaos and disarray and dissonance, so you're unfamiliar, or you feel threatened by stability. So when if you grow up in instability, when you discover it, or when you are in a relationship that is stable, my nervous system's like, wait, no, this isn't good, we're not allowed to have this. And it was nice, and I think about it a lot. Yeah. And so it's interesting. So, like, for the first time in my life, when I first started this podcast, I was, I think, pretty ruined by one girl, and then there was some bitch in Florida that broke my heart. But but at the end of the day, all these women are wonderful, taught me so much, and I'm loath to ever like truly say that a girl truly like did me wrong. I think it's just about incongruent wants. And this last relationship was really like great communication wise for the most part. And it was the first time that like I wanted to like not be a piece of shit. Not that I've ever wanted to be a piece of shit, but I was sort of ambivalent about being ambivalent in a relationship. And this was the first time that I wanted to like do nice things and like really try to like just be a good guy, because I was so like, as I ameliorated and dealt with my own self-loathing, it created space for me to be able to care about somebody else. And it was kind of the first time that I was able to do that. And it felt good. It really did. Now she's got a boyfriend. Yeah, I know. I keep fucking up. So what was the problem, Duval? She was hot, and you liked her, and you could see getting married. Getting married to her. I've talked about this. She was really dead set on kids, and I want kids, but I just didn't want them like within 12 months, and that's how I felt. I felt like she wanted like kids immediately, and I was just like, can we go on a trip to Monaco or something and like go overseas and like backpack and then like fucking have kids? So anyway, it showed me that I'm capable of love, like adult, good, healthy love, which I never thought that I could. And glad at 40, I'm finally wrapping my mind around the concept, but here we are. So that's one thing. So, single and once again lamenting a former romance. But I guess that's how things go. Each relationship teaches us something new. God, that girl, I really fucking like that girl. Leave her alone, Duval. Leave her alone. Anyway, what else happened to me? I went viral. I was critiquing this fucking Zora Mamdani guy. Here we go. I've long criticized him as I saw him kind of getting traction in the political scene. I was like, who the fuck is this like AI generated, cheesy, totally superficial, like limousine liberal, like soundbite politician, guy with a completely academic understanding of how to address, the bitch that is New York City. This is an awful zoo of a city that I love dearly, but it needs a lion tamer to run it. It's just, this is not a place you can turn your back on, and expect like, progressive platitudes to go particularly far, while so many other things are challenging this city. So anyway, I made this video critiquing him, just saying that like, obviously a huge amount of his supporters were affluent transplants who kind of pat themselves in their back by being like, oh yes, I voted for the guy who said the city should be affordable. Oh, and then got a lot of backlash. I got a lot of support, but I got a lot of backlash too. And it made me like really reevaluate my relationship with just like creating content and like, what's this all for? Do I need the stress of this? Like, am I even doing anything? Because it got nasty, and it just like, I don't know. It's a weird time. It made me really, for the first time, like question my desire to share my voice, in these digital formats. And I like this because it's, you know, kind of intimate and personal, uh, and deliberate. And maybe there is something in focusing on that, but it's a lot harder to get to promote something like this unless it's like that salacious, you know, clapback. You know, oh yeah, some fucking like 25-year-old comic like remixed the video I made, or one of the videos I made critiquing this Mamdani guy, and it was just like mean. He wasn't even like rebuting the points I was making about Mamdani. He just like roasted me, and I was just like, "What the fuck is that? I'm 40 years old and fucking battling like 90s diss track battling with you, fucking." Anyway, so it's been a time of good introspection and just kind of being like, you know, how loud do I need to be? How like public do I need to be? It's just like, does that sort of attention give me the same satisfaction as it did when I was 25? You know, and I don't know, a quieter life. You know, I never dreamed to think that I would ever be someone who, never dreamed to think I'd ever be somebody who wanted to quote Robert De Niro in Heat. What's normal? Ball games and barbecues? And then Al Pacino's like, yeah, ball game. You ever want like a normal type life? What's normal? Ball games and barbecues? Do I amuse? Yeah, fuck. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I get well. Shocking, Duval. You get older and your needs change. So yeah, you know, I just and then like, you know, do I want to go back to L.A. and like try to relive my 20s again? And as I'm sure many people in their 30s and 40s do, but I I'm torn between sort of investing and building a life on the East Coast and in New York, and, you know, becoming invested in the future of, you know, my former home of Harlem and, you know, my family's place. I'm like, do I want to be, is that where I get value from now? Like protecting legacy and ensuring the safety and future of others versus a sort of vain, you know, self-interested version of satisfaction, which was, you know, the spotlight, you know. You know, I love being on stage. I love doing stand-up, but the variables around it have changed so much. You know, the industry, the scene. The kids are younger and angrier, and I'm getting more mellow and chill, and it makes me kind of feel like, I haven't aged out, but it's just to do it there in that way gives me some pause. At least in New York, because it is. These kids are fucking. Um, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm turning some corners, man. I mean, it's just like again, I've never listened to an episode of this. So if any of you listen to this on a regular basis, let me know how I've changed, because I refuse to listen to the old episodes because they're just too depressing and dark. But I'm glad that I shared them and I went through those periods, because plenty more improvement to go. But I feel love. I do. I feel love for myself. I feel like there's no more glamour in destroying myself, you know. There's always such like romance and self-annihilation, and I just relate to that less and less, or I'm like, I ain't got time for that, you know. It's like I have things I want to do, and like being a sorry sack and like drinking myself to death is not going to achieve them. It's just as simple as that. There's no other way around it. So it's like I have to make peace with that sort of reality as well. And in doing that, it creates space to care about yourself more. And in doing that, it creates space to care about others. God, I sound so fucking corny. What the hell happened to me? I used to be a cool alcoholic. Used to be drunk and alone, staggering around Florida because some fucking bartender broke my heart. It was like a year ago. I haven't made that much progress. But after that girl, she didn't break my heart. I was just annoyed. I was inconvenienced. That's the other thing about, you know, getting your heart broken in your 30s. It's not a heartbreak. You're just inconvenienced. You're like, hey, man, I booked a fucking month-long Airbnb, and now I don't want to be here. God damn it, I can't get a deposit back. Yeah, I was just inconvenienced that girl was like fucking another dude. I was just like, man, But then I met this other girl, Elizabeth. It was a fucking just delight, and like we, went to Greenwich, Connecticut on my birthday uh, last year. No, I think I drank alone, whenever that was. I have long COVID. I can't remember anything. But we had a nice birthday and went to a hotel in Stanford one weekend and like fucked for like 45 minutes straight. It was just like, God, she was, yeah, man. She almost got pregnant. I'll say that because I was ready to fucking just destroy that tight little bod. We would. I don't know if I can. And now I'm nervous to be honest about shit now because it's just like this awful world where like someone's gonna clip this and be like, he's a monster. And I am in some ways. I mean, I'm definitely a pervert, but I'm never a creep. It's always consensual. Uh, it's very fun when you have great chemistry, physical and intellectual and mental with someone. And we always, and she worked in the corporate world too. She worked in tech as well. And, I currently work in tech. And it was nice to be able to commiserate with her about a lot of the stresses of that job because not a lot of people get it. It's a very unique world. And I think that's true for any relationship. I think, if your partner, your girlfriend, your wife understands what you do or is in the world of what you do, that's very important because then that understanding, I think, is a part of the bond, is a part of a mature bond, I think. And I think it's why we connect with, lovers and partners and girlfriends and whatever differently in our 30s and 40s than we do in our 20s because in our 20s we're not doing shit. That's why we'll fuck anyone in our 20s. That's why there's so many women that I slept with or hooked up with or like briefly dated in my 20s that like we had nothing in common. Like there was no reason we should have been talking to each other other than the fact that we were like young and I don't know, just had energy, But now, like in my 30s, and entering my 40s, I'm like, if a girl can't understand, like on some level, just the shit that I have to deal with professionally, it's kind of like not a non-starter, but I don't know. It's just I think it's more common to connect with somebody who does what you do or is in your world. So yeah. So yeah, now it's kind of it's getting my finances right and like booking voiceover jobs. It's just this is the critical moment. Like this is where it's like up to me now. Before there were variables stacked against me that I didn't have control over. COVID, my dad, fucking health stuff, the things I've mentioned. And now it's like I'm kind of leaving the that ravine of shit, and now I'm paddling into kind of open, calmer waters. And it's like, all right, Captain, which way are you gonna go? So, taking responsibility for my bullshit, I think, is the key of this entire podcast. But you got to suffer through it too. There's no getting around it. Just gotta stop and face that shit. And mind you, it ain't beat, but we're grappling now. Before I was kind of dancing around the ring, trying to avoid it. Now we're locking up, and we're doing that WWF thing when you grab each other's hands and you kind of try to see who's stronger, and then yeah, coming to the ring. I don't have the energy to do a fucking Macho Man impression, but you get the idea. Yeah, so I again, it's this thing about like protection and like legacy and stuff. It's just like I'm sure it's a biological clock related thing for me, but I have this desire to protect. When I see of someone who's like vulnerable, I'm like, all right, they got it, they good. Let's take a look here. It's just like I feel compelled to like. I see so many sad fucking people, so many glowers, so many just stoic, cold, emotionless expressions around me when I'm out in the world, at the supermarket or wherever. And I'm just so happy to like do corny dad jokes or just try to make people like break out of their fucking stupor with by being at my expense, like to be a dummy, to be like a goofball, like at the cashier. And if I can make some, Gen Z kid who's just like zoned out, like smirk or laugh, it's like, all right, I brought someone back to the real world. Or if I see some old timer who's just like, "Arr, arr, arr," and I can like hold a door for them, and they're like, "Oh, there is still decency in this world, man." It's just like this is the kind of shit that's on us that we got to do for each other, and I get really angry when I see people who only take, because I was that guy, you know, emotionally, I think, in relationships, with friends, and I'm really really conscious of how important it is to give back to people you care about. Because I look now and realize that all the only good things in my life have come from people who care about me, giving me themselves. And with a lot of people, a lot of women, I was unfortunately not great about that. And I don't do it out of like penance necessarily or guilt. I mean, for sure there is that feeling, but I do it because it's like it's the right thing to do. It's just, it's logical. It's like there's no, we're anointed, if we have our health and we have a few dollars in our pocket, we are dutifully anointed with the responsibility of not being a colossal hunk of shit to other people if it can be helped, who are undeserving of being a colossal hunk of shit. Like if someone's a douchebag, I'm coming after them, but that's why I don't like Mom Donnie. But anywho, I just wanted to pop the seal and maybe do more of these. I have no idea how many. Like either one person listens to this or like 500 do. I have no idea who the fuck listens to this thing. So if you do, I appreciate you. I always have, whoever you are. I have no, I have no idea who listens to this. That's so weird. Fucking bearing my heart. So if you do listen to this, I love you and I appreciate you. I think it's been helpful. I should have got that girl pregnant. Anyway, this has been nice. I'll be back with more. Let's make 2026 something good for ourselves and each other. Okay, bye.